Last time on the Great Ace Attorney, was that destroyed by fire when a candle fell on the floor?
I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere.
What time of day was that?
Around 5 o'clock, I think.
So it's exactly the same time as the terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below.
Okay, and hopefully they will be leaving any moment now. Hopefully.
I hope so, because I haven't finished with you yet, Mr. Garrett.
I'll be on my way for today, but you mark my words, this ain't over yet.
Get thee to a nunnery!
Do I look like a blooming nun to you?
Are you a lodger here?
Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right! Having uncovered some eccentric reading material.
No, they found my fan fiction.
Fan fiction, you say?
Oh my goodness, they found my fan fiction!
Shakespeare combined Toy Story.
Yesterday, Mr. Naruhodo successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then... Sudato? Shush!
Mr. Zato. Best not to mention the bit where he was burned to death inside the carriage.
Ah, I am impressed, Mr. Sato. You have an eye for detail.
Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us.
Oh, well, consider my last statement retracted.
There is never enough time, is there?
I don't suppose that you might consider defending me, please.
Well, I mean, I know you were very subtle about it, but I'd be happy to represent you.
What?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Disillusion Plays, where we play the games and do the voices. Today, we will once again be playing the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. But before we jump in, I am Taylor.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Sarah.
Yeah.
And if you like what we do, why don't you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell to get notified about when we post new content on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and, leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts or feelings on what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, oh, serious music.
Serious stuff.
So, let's get into position.
Now, where are you going, man? Come back!
And by in position, I mean leaving the room.
For goodness sake, man, we're in the middle of recording.
Where's your professionalism? My
There's a
goodness.
light shining right in my eye, and I'm like, ah! It's turning it off.
Very well. Let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zieks. Very recently, Great Britain signed an alliance with a rising power in the Far East. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Soseki Natsume. And while our country has extended this foreign student the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, this student is accused of a most sinister act. Of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street.
Oh, for goodness sake, that's another bit of cleaning I've got to do. Will you stop throwing glass shards all over the courtroom? For God's sake!
A knife crime, I tell you, from bitter experience. Those are the worst. Bloody oath they are.
Just look at that sallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Oh my goodness.
Come on, let's get this over with. With me now, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Straight away.
Eh? Sorry, didn't quite catch that. Pray, forgive the discourtesy of smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber.
You're not the bloody one that has to clean it up.
Allow me to call the first witness to the stand. Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please.
Oh, is it Gregson?
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Oh,
It's
no.
usually-
Chippy. So Chippy.
Your name and occupation, please.
Does that mean I'm the gumshoe this time?
Oh, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I came here from Brooklyn on a plane.
Tobias.
I came here from Brooklyn
Tobias
on a
Gregson.
plane.
Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard.
Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector?
Shit's fucked. I mean, the victim is thought to be a young woman.
You can't say that.
Oh.
It's the wrong game. He said the naughties.
Well,
drop
then
an
there'll
F-bomb?
just have to be some gavel sounds over my testimony now, won't there? The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green.
I beg your pardon, Inspector?
Oh, it's a pun, you see, because it's the last name, but it's also Olive Green is also a colour.
is.
It's very clever, actually.
And guys, if you recall, if there's one thing you can say about Olive Green, it's that when you're there, you're like family.
For God's sake.
Oh wait, I always confuse
Olive
green and
Garden.
garden. I always confuse green and garden.
Oh, for goodness sake. Get out.
So-
Get out. Now.
but have you tried?
If we want to get through this playthrough, we gotta go
But have
fast.
you ever? But have you ever tried the never-ending spaghetti?
Pasta. Never-ending
Spaghetti.
pasta bowl.
Never-ending spaghetti plate.
Okay.
If you're gonna
yeah,
do
you know
a
what?
bit,
So
get it right.
It's like the meme thing where it's broke getting sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, woke getting sponsored by Olive Garden. Where you're there, your family. When you're there, your family.
I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be.
Yes, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever
Oh
since.
dear.
What? So they don't even know who she is for sure?
Comatose. I see. But her life is not in danger.
I mean, aside from the gangrene and the sucking knife wound in her back, no.
Aside from being comatose as well in this era,
Yeah,
it's perhaps
not
not super healthy for them.
Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray, elaborate on the details, Inspector.
Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at this street map.
Oh yes,
Meerschaum Street.
Meerschaum.
Oh, well, I know Meerschaum Street. It intersects with Briar Road right off of Calabash.
Calabash.
These are not made-up names at all. As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, at around 5 in the afternoon. It happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road, a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles.
What is that?
It's a profile of a lady in a
Oh,
bonnet.
so it is. I'm like,
Oh!
Yeah,
Got one of them, like,
I
bonnet-
thought it was a friggin' megaphone, or like
No.
the volume
Yeah,
icon
Yeah, they
on the
kind of had
computer.
these like weird bonnet hats, didn't they? And
I thought it was a you know, like one of those test tube sort of glasses, like the sort, you know, oh, not a test tube, but a scientific. Oh my god! Yeah.
Like a cylinder.
No, but the sort
like
of
a flask.
yeah, like a flask, but it's like flared outwards,
like an
Oh.
Erlenmeyer
like wide at
flask.
the bottom, thin at the top.
yeah.
I don't know.
forgot what
I
they're
just
called.
can't speak. Apparently, I have no
Conical
words, no
flask, is it?
vocabulary.
No, I don't know. I can't remember.
Anyway,
She looks like an egg.
I'm not going to be rude.
I'm not being rude.
No, I meant me.
It had not been long since stopped snowing as the victim. It had not long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street.
Oh, bonk.
Donk.
She got
Out of
she
the
got
blue,
smacked by
she was
Professor
approached
Layton.
from behind by
Professor Layton came and stabbed a lady in the back.
This reminds me of a puzzle.
It was some strange fellow. He was in a jacket, a purple jacket, and a large top hat. And then he asked her something about a puzzle. And then when she was not able to answer, he pulled out a knife and shaved her. Something about if you have a lion on one side of the shore and 2 chickens on the other, how can you get both to the other side of the shore without the lion being on the same platform as the chicken? I don't know. It was quite a complicated mess, to be honest.
Taylor, come back, Taylor. Come back to us, please.
Where is this going? Would you have a look at this puzzle knife? Like, what was the murder weapon? Can you assemble the murder weapon?
The blue shoes approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back.
That was just such a long-winded bit.
You're a long-winded bit. Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. They're trying to roust her awake by shaking her vigorously and slapping her with smelling salts. The treatment has thus far been ineffective, but we hope to see a result soon.
Oh my god!
But being unconscious as she is, we've been unable to take a statement from her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far.
You mean the auto? Oh wait, it's not an autopsy report.
Oh, thank you, Inspector. The court will accept the documents as evidence, if you please.
The case file has been entered into the court record.
What of the weapon that was used?
Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back. Ouch! That big thing... That big thing is starting to make me scared to walk down the street now.
With a heavy blade like that, almost anyone would have been able to stab the poor woman.
I mean, it's not that impressive a knife.
No,
if I'm being
it's a
completely
pocket knife,
honest.
isn't it?
Well,
That's not a knife.
This is an
what I need to... The thing is, guys, right, is we don't have a banana for scale, so we don't know how big that knife is. It could be ginormous. Like, it could be a two-handed knife. It could be like a Zweihander. We don't know.
Zweihander knife.
We don't know. Like, it's just a little picture. It could be, you know, this again, no scale.
Even the scragged-looking Soseki-san, I suppose.
A common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript. Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence. I suppose as describing it as a common jackknife, it's probably actually quite small. One-handed blade that would barely penetrate anywhere. But whatever.
I love the focus on this episode so far.
Well, you know.
Everyone's just going off on a tangent.
Yeah, well, I mean, if people wanted to play the game, they'd buy the bloody game, wouldn't they?
I guess.
I think what you must remember is without Danganronpa there, you know, we don't have the Makoto saying the same thing about 500 times.
That's true.
Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume?
From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself.
Oh dear.
Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pinching, my lord.
I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment toward the victim?
I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr Natsume, doesn't appear to get out
You
much.
mean like we're going to have to actually try and sort of figure this out in court, rather than just making assumptions as to what the issue was in the first place?
Oh, wow.
Wow. I mean, that's... How
unlike it.
How unlike a Phoenix Wright game.
Yeah.
At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes.
Yes!
Yes.
Excuse me. If theft and grievance had been ruled out as the
Got the eye
motive,
thing going on again.
what reason could Mr Natsume possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? For stabbing the young woman. Yet you arrested the man in spite of that, in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Objection!
Ooh, growly. Oh, for goodness sake, not again!
I hate that bottle.
I just love there's a member of the jury that's just sopping in wine now. And glass
Maybe they
shards.
quickly try and catch them. They're like, oh,
You know what it'll be,
darn
right?
it.
It's gonna.
I really wanted that one.
It's gonna be like there's gonna be a cordoned off section of the gallery
Yeah.
that says like the splash zone behind Lord Van Zeek's, which is just where it's like you know you can sit there if you want to be part of the show.
Yeah.
Pray, forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. But your words have soured its hallowed bouquet.
I need to go to the hospital!
For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here.
Oh, that look. That smouldering look.
Smolder.
What?
Scottish Yard does not arrest people
Yard.
without good cause.
Scottish Yard. My God.
Well, I was just thinking about how, like, Gregson...
What the hell was in your tea, darling?
No, I said Scottish on purpose. It was a bit. I didn't misread it. I meant because Gregson's Scottish. We've done a Scottish Gregson.
I know.
From Scottish Yard.
Scottish Yard.
Scotland.
Which Pete doesn't know where it is.
Scotland, presumably.
It's your character, not mine. You leave me alone.
Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony.
Really?
Explain to the court precisely why the constabulary came to arrest the Nipponese student.
You okay there, Vanzi?
But my chips are getting lukewarm, and if I need more, I'm gonna... I mean, yes, sir!
Yeah.
Bailiff, if I'll give you 20 shillings, can you go fetch me some more chips, please?
Bailiff, can I get some vinegar with that, too? And a bit of salt?
Don't forget the salt.
As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Usually, in the UK, it's about as thick as soup around that time in the afternoon. But it was notable because I could actually make out the buildings amidst the smog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else about like the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. The floor? Really? Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, it seems. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. This accent is really horrendous.
Well, you know, start as you mean to go on and all that.
Books, you say?
Yes, my lord. I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime taken immediately after the incident.
I love how it's in colour.
Yeah.
But the other ones were in black and white.
Yes, that's a good point.
Is it, or is it that another thing of like the Japanese law system is behind that they're still on black and white photos, and this is like, we're Britain, we have full colour here, even though it's the 19th century.
But the previous case only had black and white photos, didn't it? Didn't it, or did it?
No, I think it had color photos.
You know, I can't remember now.
Oh, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Ah, yes. I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. Yes. And...
No blood coming from the wound, which is a little bit weird.
Stabbed into like a cushion.
I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector.
The crime scene photograph has been entered into the court record.
You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat, denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary.
Alright, calm down.
Well,
Forgive me, Lord Van Zieks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it.
What are you doing, Miss Susato?
A woman. Do go on.
Mr Natsume has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr Naruhodo?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. Well, now that you mention it. When we visited him in the prison yesterday, he did tell us what had all happened.
That was a bit weird phrase.
Yeah.
Oh, that frickin' face. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman, wearing a green overcoat she was. And just as I went to overtake her, she accidentally fell onto my knife. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings.
Huh! A green overcoat?
Well, that's exactly what the woman in that print is wearing.
Oh my! A photographic print in full colour. What will the world come up with next? Oh, okay, they've acknowledged it, okay.
The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. That does not mean that he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back.
Oh.
There was nobody else there at the time. Just the two of them. The victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. A fact that the accused concedes.
Ah, that is true, unfortunately.
It seems this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please.
Yes, my lord. Nothing for it. I have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. I've been standing here a long time and I'm getting really hungry.
My back hurts quite a lot,
I'm having chip withdrawal.
I don't know what happened to me, but my accent isn't like, yeah.
I'm having chip withdrawal,
Do you not have any idea how hard it is watching some man crawl through the snow with his knees frozen to the pavement for about 8 hours? I had to listen to the wails and screams as he says, "Oh, how am I going to play ball with my child now, Mr. Gregson? Oh, I will never be able to walk again, Mr. Gregson." It was on and on and on, nigh without cease.
A picture of Monsieur Lecoq.
Oh no! No! That's not good.
Would you like to see Monsieur
No! No! That's not good. That's not good.
We're done. We're done. We're done.
I think
that's it.
God. Okay. Right. Early 20s.
Rolly beat.
Rolly.
I am Monsieur Lecoq.
The victim remains unconscious. Her name is.
And when I am done, the women, they always say, "Oui, oui."
Apart from the single stab wound from the large knife, no other signs of injury were observed. The assailant was seen running away. Okay, so we don't really...
I would like to formally apologize to the country of France. I mean, no offense.
Apologize to our viewers.
They did not need to see this.
No, they did not need to hear this or anything.
Okay, sorry.
So that doesn't really give us anything new. Just that her name was...
Olive green. Stout.
Yeah, renders
build,
unconscious following the stab wound, and that her name was established from her personal effects.
Rolly beat?
Yeah, that was the guy who
the
reported.
reporting officer.
Alright, and then we've got the knife. I suppose we should look at the knife.
Yeah.
It looks like a knife, guys.
Can you flip it open? Because presumably there should be
like
knife on the blade,
The
right?
knife!
Knife.
There should be knife on the
There
blade.
should be
well
a
done,
knife
Taylor.
on the blade.
Yes, there should be blood on the blade of
It's
the
gonna
knife.
be it's one of those knives that when you open it, another knife comes out.
Where's the
I say
tip?
it's broke.
Is it embedded inside her?
Well, this is it.
If we use a metal detector and get,
God.
then what?
Gumshoe, get your metal detector.
Hey, let's get the metal detector, pal. I got it.
Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhodo. Just at the tip.
Oh my goodness. Oh my, I don't know where to put my eyes, Susato.
Oh my goodness.
Susato-san. is not good. It's not good. This is going to be on the last episode. On this episode, we joked, and that's it, guys.
We joked so hard.
We joked so hard that we advanced one line of dialogue.
A small piece of the blade appears to be missing.
You're right. Well spotted, Mrs. Zato.
I wonder what could have happened to it.
Yes. You don't think it could still be lodged in the victim, do you?
Oh dear. I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful.
It was!
Where's the blood?
Yeah, there's no blood.
It was terribly painful! I have been shot in the shoulder! It was awful!
You don't do it nearly deeply enough. You bring shame to the Von Carlo family. Be gone with you.
I was stabbed in the shoulder. Wait, stabbed. Shot in the shoulder.
Yeah, I can't do it. Which is a reference that no one's gonna.
Objection.
I guess it's a reference that no one's gonna get because, like,
We need to do that.
we need to do the first two, I guess. Yeah. So that's it, guys. We get nothing from this. Just no.
I mean, again,
no blood.
I can't find
Yeah,
anything.
no blood. Okay.
I guess that's gotta be a thing.
Right, okay, so I guess I don't really know what I guess we just press everything then, right?
I guess so.
5 o'clock in the afternoon, incident occurred, visibility was reasonably good.
Are you two quite finished? I mean, I've been standing here 5 minutes and you've been, like, laughing to yourselves like idiots.
Stand from behind, collapsed on the pavement, the accused ran off scattering, his belongings all over the floor. There's being a number of old books he just bought, he was on his way home from a bookshop. It was just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him.
Do you think that thing earlier with, what's it, you know, where it was like the note in there
Mr.
that says James, that was... Well, moreover, that it's like, well, figuring out who they belong to, but then clearly the books belong to other people previously, so maybe it doesn't prove anything?
I don't know. I think the thing there, though, is that there is literally this, like, the second-hand book receipt that says customer, Mr. Natsume.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, the bookshop's...
You wanted a picture of Mr. Lecoq.
And the bookshop's called Your Books. God's sake. Right, okay, I guess we just press everything. Let's do this!
Yeah, just press from the beginning, yep. Because we don't want to risk going in the wrong order and then not triggering the flag that we need to advance the dialogue.
Don't even.
A light fog, you say? Well, light for London. You could see the opposite side of the street. Oh my god, I was making the joke earlier!
Taylor called it. Taylor, you sure you don't live here?
You could see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much farther, though. That's light, is it?
Aye.
Around these parts, yes. Not something I'd expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course.
Rude.
I've read that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine that gives the city a rather beautiful appearance.
How quaint.
Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize as I can expect you, or as I expect you can appreciate. I see. At this time of year, the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm.
Indeed. The other day, I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could see the carriage they were pulling.
Ah, Susato-san and I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen.
As should everybody.
And
yes, children.
And also probably stay on the street or on the sidewalks, because I don't know how you'd get run over by a horse if you weren't walking in the middle of the road.
On the pavement, sir.
Dum-de-dum, it's so good to be a judge. Dum-de-dum-de-dum, I'm just going to walk across the... Oh my goodness!
I'm just here my gavel. Oh my goodness.
Better! Stop, horse!
However,
It should run.
On the day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than usual. A fact no doubt lamented by the accused. No doubt.
Reasonably good. There's no one else around. I mean, yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The cutscenes we've had that show London, it's always been quite bright and vibrant.
This is a good question, though. How are you able to state that with any certainty?
Quite simply, my learned friend. Because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us.
Aha, and then this'll be the bit where it was like the Garadebs had the fire in the house at 5 when this whole thing was going
smoky,
down.
yeah.
Yes.
He didn't say his line.
You skipped my line. Ah, yes, Inspector Gregson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he?
That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard.
I didn't skip any lines. You just were too slow.
That is correct, ma'am.
Wet slap.
Then we must hear their testimony. That will be a problem as he's still frozen to the street crying for mercy.
The prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand. Should it be necessary.
But wait a minute! At 5 o'clock in the afternoon in the middle of winter, it would have been dark already.
Yeah, he's got a point there.
Tell me about it, pal. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen.
I'm unaware of the situation on your tiny island in the east.
Rude.
But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by gas streetlights. Gas streetlights.
Examine.
Gas. The electricity.
We have to examine the gas electricity.
Prosecution. The prosecution believes there would have been ample light by which to witness the crime.
Quite. Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness.
But with the darkness defeat the light.
Perhaps Bungie should hire them, and they could sort out that lot with the Guardians. And
Yes.
deal with the darkness.
Deal with the
The nature of darkness, that the brighter the light goes, the larger the darkness becomes, and the darkness can never be truly conquered. Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom who?
Which means we really need to hit...
Go on, Taylor.
We're doing a cracking job today.
Stellar.
Like, this is, you know...
Stella.
Which means we really need to hear those witness statements. If I could just get through the fog of this cross-examination, maybe we'll be able to.
Oh.
It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector.
Stop that.
From behind, you say? That's right. As you can see from this print.
Oh, yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. Or it could be their front. They might have hair that grows all over their face and...
Like Cousin It from the Addams Family. They
I'm
put
sorry,
the coat on back to
I'm not entirely sure what fiction you're trying to weave at me, Miss Sato, but I have never heard of this Addams Family, because I'm sure that probably won't be invented for a fair few years. However, that might be a very hairy man.
That's currently facing us. I don't know where I'm going.
No, it's quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. Yes, and you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in a critical condition. Comatose, no less.
I'm afraid so, my lord, yes. She's being treated at Bart's.
Bart's?
Not the hospital, the bar. They've been, like I said, they've been trying to shake her awake with these aromatic bitters for a little while. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be.
Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of events.
Luck is on your client's side, it seems.
Not really in the slightest. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky.
Your force of tone is seriously undermined by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. They're quite googly. Okay.
Mr. Natsume's belongings? I think you'll find it's all there in the photographic prints of the crime scene.
They love going on about this photograph, don't they? It's like...
Oh, yes. The 3...
Look, I had to get the photographer out there and he had to get the powder and everything, and it took at least 3 hours, so yes, you're damn well right I'm gonna be showing off the photograph.
We had to take 3 photographs. We had to take a red photograph, we had to do a green pass, and we had to do a blue pass, and then we had to have them all combined in some kind of crazy room.
I don't know, I presume it's nothing like that whatsoever.
Yes.
I think your joke got stabbed like the woman did.
It's not like a laser printer where it has to do like several passes.
Yes, there's the 3 books on the floor.
It bugs me that they say floor. It's not the floor, it's the street, it's the sidewalk. It's like floor is inside
Is it?
something.
I mean, it's still the floor.
It's like if you drop it on the ground outside, it's not. You don't say you've dropped it on the floor.
Don't you? I don't know, maybe that's a British idiom, because I kind of do. I feel like I'd go, oh, it's on the floor there.
Yeah, I would. On the floor. I mean, if they wanted to be, they could have said ground.
Yeah, but I kind of feel that, like, as a British person, I would say floor.
Yeah, we just go floor.
Like, oh no, I've dropped my keys on the floor, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, we just say floor.
Chuck that rock. Chuck the rock?
Chuck the rock?
I don't know, chuck that stone on the floor. Put that stone down on the floor.
I just say put it down.
I don't know, something like that.
That's right, my lord. Second-hand books they were. Irreparably damaged after falling in the snow, of
They
course.
look pretty alright to me, but...
Yeah.
They were irreparably damaged.
The accused could easily have carried all 3 books in one hand. As you may have noticed, they were all paper thin. Complete utter trash. Like Monsieur Lecoq. It's just one... it's just one page. It's a picture book with just one page.
It's a pop-up book.
No, no.
God's sake. This just goes to show that it doesn't really matter how old you get. Sometimes your sense of humor just never matures. Mine certainly has.
Everyone knows willies are always funny.
Wiener.
Anyway, which means his other hand would have... God's sake.
He had one hand around Monsieur Lecoq and the other around a knife.
This is causing me great pain. We will get through this.
Oh my god.
One way or another, one sentence at a time.
They knew what they were doing. I refuse to believe otherwise.
Oh,
Okay.
I can't breathe.
His other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example.
Anyway, Susato, composed.
He's very clever, isn't he?
Isn't he?
What do you mean?
What?
I'm sorry. Oh god, I can't do this.
Mr. Susato, the key to this case is asserting that Mr. Natsume at all times had both hands wrapped firmly around Monsieur Lecoq.
But he made it extremely hard for you.
Oh no!
Oh no! I just hit the mic stand. I'm sorry.
I just imagine just
The cover of this book is extremely
and Van
rigid.
Zeeks is just like,
Oh, I hate when I laugh that I snort. I'm sorry, viewers. Okay, breathe, woman. Ooh, okay.
come on, say you can do
Let
it.
it be known that we've faffed about for about 30 minutes because of a dick joke. I just want that on the record.
Oh god.
A dick joke we wouldn't have even realised if we'd have not been fumbling about in the evidence as well. I kind of wish I'd not looked at the receipt.
Come on, Sarah.
This is Sato. Are you quite all right?
I mean, Sarah, come on. You have to get into the mind of Sasato. Look, she looks deadly serious.
She's looking at me with disgust.
She's
I'm
looking.
sorry,
Yeah, she is. She is looking. She is disgusted in your sense of humor. What do you have to say for yourself? Not me, Sasato.
I'm sorry.
No, not Sasato's not sorry. She's cross with you.
I'm sorry, Sasato.
There we go.
He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsume had his hands full with his books.
At least it was just his
I only
books.
just managed to get that line out.
He's managed to close the one avenue of escape we might have had before we knew it was there.
You mean to say that the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back?
Must be what happened, my lord. Yes.
Nothing else. He couldn't have been holding anything else. At all.
His hand was properly full of his belongings.
Yeah.
They were.
Oh dear.
Okay.
I'm gonna have a really hard time trying to find a serious what progressed the episode when we do the recap for the next one.
No, the what happened last time episode is gonna be like 5 shots of us just friggin' losing our minds giggling.
Dick jokes, laughing, bit of story, that's it.
The defendant apparently visits a second-hand bookshop on a daily basis. Yes, so I understand.
Daily basis. I wish I could get through books that quickly.
A shop full of old English literature.
I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention.
The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books.
They're all multiple volumes of... You know the word.
Lecoq Volume
Can you
2.
tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector? Oh, well, if I must, I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid.
Bourbon books.
The closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings is this place here. Bourbon. Hold on, wasn't
your-
he the? Oh, it's your
books.
Right, that'll be the
Yes.
statement.
Yeah.
Bourbon book.
Is this place here? Bourbon
Bourbon.
Books. Bourbon. A little place on the corner of Briar Road and Meerschaum Street.
Meerschaum.
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 Wit.
As it happens, the accused is currently living in lodgings on the other side of Briar Road at the
Well, that's
opposite
quite
end.
convenient, isn't it? Just nipping across the road to the
Yeah.
bookshop.
Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home.
Oh, there's Professor Layton again.
Keeps cropping up.
Something like this.
The local map's information has been updated in the court record.
So yeah, I guess we present the receipt, I guess.
Yes, I concur with your conclusions, Sarah. And Inspector.
Excuse me, what?
Yes, I know. No, what you just said, I concur. We present the thing.
Yes.
The defendant would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop.
That particular
Yes,
shot,
indeed.
yes.
Mr. Naruhodo, I think that what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance.
Yes, thank you, Navi. We know to look and listen.
Hey, listen!
Like, God.
Yes, I agree.
We've already worked out
not
this.
Navi, Fi. Fi's like...
I know, but no one knows who Fi is.
The annoying one.
It's
The bookshop's
That's
Yeah,
the
name.
shop's name.
Inspector Gregson, may I ask you a favor? A favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony,
To your
please?
formal
I
testimony.
won't be able
So
to make a case if I can't attack that specific
So
statement.
that I can shove this
I have
receipt
to-
in
I
your
have-
face.
I have to fire a truth bullet at it, you see. I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe. Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes! It could be a very important
And
clue.
gosh darn it, I can't present an objection if you don't add it to your testimony.
Very well. Not that I can see it being of any great significance. but
I can.
Editor's note, would in fact be of great significance.
please, revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector.
Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic?
Fucking Chandler here. Could he be any more sardonic? No!
No!
I didn't mean to
wrong
press. I
one.
pressed the wrong button. Sorry. Okay.
So the shop is called Bourbon Books, is it? That's right. That's the closest second-hand bookshop to the accused's lodgings. Oh, now we gotta look at the map. And to get from there back to his room, he would have gone right past the very spot where the incident took place. If I could just confirm one more point, can we be sure that the defendant really did visit Bourbon Books on the day in question? Well, we haven't actually confirmed it, no.
You haven't confirmed it? Why the devil not, Inspector?
Well, as I said, I had one man frozen to the pavement, the other was getting me more chips, and I wasn't going to be bothered to walk down to the bookstore in this weather. Well, the thing is, the shopkeeper's gone on a trip, you see. Left the morning after...
Suspicious.
Oh, I do so wonder if that might be a relevant point. The shopkeeper's gone on a trip, you see. Left the morning after the incident to collect more stock, I'm told, although it seemed as if he packed most of his worldly belongings, a fake beard, a new mustache, and
very,
glasses.
very quickly, I might add.
It pulled out of here in a right rush. I expect it was because of a new hot-in-demand book. So we haven't been able to ask the bloke if the accused visited his shop on the day in question or not. Well, in that case, what did the defendant himself have to say about it?
No recollection.
Well, that's not helpful, is it, Mr. Natsume? What?
According to the statement he made at the time, the accused has no recollection of where he'd been.
Helpful.
Of course he doesn't. The bloke clearly has his head in the clouds whenever he's walking about town. He claims he just wanders into whatever bookshop he happens to be passing and rarely notices the name.
I should say the man ought to learn to look where he's going, at the very least.
So, it's just as I thought then.
Is something the matter?
Yes, Susato. If I present that evidence, we'll get them all right.
Inspector. Inspector, you may continue with your testimony.
Okay, now Pete,
I
present
know,
the evidence on the previous
I
statement.
pressed the wrong button.
Push the
This
button.
one.
Objection! If I could just stop you there.
Mum was like, just a little teensy weensy little problem with that statement.
What is it, Sunshine? I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt that we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident and details the purchase of 3 second-hand books. And you found that in the accused's room, did you? Did you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it.
Go on.
This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books.
What do you mean, my books?
My books? No, your books.
My books?
I don't know what you mean. I don't have any books. No, your books. Well, this is just getting insulting.
There we go, yeah.
Oh, your books? Y-O-R-E, I presume.
Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at the second-hand bookshop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books.
Goodness.
I've squashed
Oh
me.
no, my whole case was standing on that one wee tiny little matchstick leg, and now the whole tower is toppling. Oh, damn it.
Objection! On what grounds? It's devastating to my case.
I overrule.
Inspector, Do you know of this other bookshop?
Yes, sir. Your Books is another second-hand bookshop not far from
In fact, it's right
Bourbon
next door. They're competing.
It's just that... Well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it. Objection! But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection! Yes. For what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, his dick pics, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection! I disagree! I mean, after all,
I have the street map here.
Street mat.
I have the street map here, if that might be a help.
Can't say it.
You've got it. It's
street,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
map.
to put you off.
Oh, yes! Thank you!
Yes!
Have a look at this, please. If the defendant had been returning from Bourbon Books...
We know!
They've put the animation in, Pete. They're going
We're
to
blooming well use it.
Then yes, he would almost certainly have passed the place where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed that location at all.
Could that be true?
My. It rather depends on where this other bookshop is. But I do declare it may be a possibility.
Is that right, Mr. Lawyer, sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right.
Blah, 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 blah.
Inspector Gregson, where is this Your Books establishment?
Well, I don't really want to point it out, Your Honor. I get a certain kind of novel from it, you see, and the missus don't know about it. And I just as soon not have that knowledge be made public.
The red lights in the
well, we obviously looked into that. It turns out that Your Books...
Where do we think? Is it? I want to say it's right next door.
No, I want to say it's like on the corner,
like
so
on
that
the opposite side.
It come down Calabash Road or near there and down there and across to his lodgings.
I just really want it to be next door. That's bigger than Bourbon Books.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a small little shop.
It's just here on the next corner of Meerschaum Street going east.
The local maps information has been updated in the court record.
He still could have gone down Briar Road, but it probably makes more sense to go down Calabash.
And there you have it, as you can clearly see now.
Which actually makes barely any difference.
Bollocks.
Oh. My learned Nipponese friend is obviously in training to be a clown. The way he regales us with such witticisms.
You are not a clown. You are the entire circus.
To your future career in the circus.
You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you.
Oh, is that a threat?
Oh, Susato. I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go.
They are equidistant.
If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, there is no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. Unless he went along the other road.
We're not going to entertain the idea that he may have gone the other way, as it's equidistant.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Inspector. There's no other possible way you could have gone.
Ugh.
Allow me to reiterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend.
Oh.
Wherever the man purchased his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
I like that the glass just evaporates into thin air. It doesn't like somehow splinter into pieces.
Also, I'd like a bandage. Such an actor.
As I suspected, you can't fool me. I don't suggest you try.
What did I say, huh? I've had enough of this now.
Oh, beg your pardon. Terribly sorry, but would you mind repeating that?
I said I've had enough of this now!
Blimey.
Mr. Naruhodo, we mustn't give up.
What do you mean?
The prosecution's assertion is correct. The members of the jury may very well decide that Mr. Natsume is guilty.
Ah! She's absolutely right. I don't know why that possibility hadn't occurred to me before. This thing is how I've already been in court once, but fine!
We must think. We must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully.
What if, and I know this is crazy, but bear with me, what if he went right instead of left?
Yeah.
God's sake.
The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Explain yourself, counsel. Now.
Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on this map.
Well, I mean, nothing looks out of the ordinary.
When returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsume could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route between the two places.
Shocking, I know.
If the defendant used these streets, look what happens.
Ow.
He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked.
Objection! Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that that route is what's commonly referred to as the long way round.
Long, long man.
He's back.
Ah.
On a cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home?
Well, he doesn't pay attention to where he's going,
No.
does he? Well, also, is it really the longer way around?
Not according to the map, no. But also, he's only been there for, what was it, a week? So, he might not have sort of established that it was the long way around.
Well,
The answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings, and is the obvious perpetrator of this crime.
Objection! But! Aha! Yes!
Perhaps
I've got
shouldn't
it!
say that out loud, my Nipponese friend.
Obviously, one must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsume which route he took home.
I have already informed the court of the I have already informed the court of the accused's response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection.
That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B.
Look, there! That statement alone is enough to introduce the doubt.
Possibility, yes.
I've got no idea what you mean. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home.
Seeds of doubt right now!
There's no definite answer.
Literally contradicting. Why are you stressed? This is helpful to you.
I don't believe this!
I thank you, my learned friend. and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's, I was going to say precious time, by wandering aimlessly around this subject. Like the defendant. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors?
It's like a robot, like
peeling himself off.
But even if that is the case, the defense still.
hold it. Oh,
Hey, oh.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh. Oh.
I agree with Lord Van Seeks. Wholeheartedly and in every way.
Oh no.
What? I don't believe it.
It's
does
time
this mean...
for the fireballs, my boy. We, members of the jury, are completely convinced now.
We're gonna have to do the convention of mention, but
The examination,
the convocation,
summation.
the summation examination.
Assumation,
The summation examination.
the sublimation,
Very
consumption.
well. In that case, I hereby call upon the jurors. Very well, in that case, I hereby call upon all members of the jury to have to wait until next time, because I'm afraid we've ran out of time.
Well, bugger.
Gosh darn.
So, I mean, when you cut out the dick jokes and us laughing like idiots, that's about maybe 30 minutes of content, or 20 maybe.
And if you like the dick jokes and, you know, our silly content, then why don't you hit that like button? Drop a comment down below, you know, let us know your thoughts or whatnot, which is always fun. Hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified of all of our future stuff.
Yeah.
And with that, we'll catch you in the next one.
Tatty bye.
Tatty bye.
And may your chips always be fresh and salty, and not mashed.